Hello, on today's video I'm going to discuss with you some tips on how to become a better beach soccer coach. And these tips are mainly and are particularly important if you are starting your beach soccer coach career. So without further ado, let's proceed. The first tip that I would like to discuss with you is to have a huge desire to learn. Always be constantly trying to search new contents, new ways of working, being it by videos, by workshops, books, courses, etc., etc. So always be learning. It is very, very important that you try to learn. I know when we are talking about beach soccer that the number of sources that you have in order to increase your knowledge is not as big as other sports, but there are some things available, mainly on from the Brazilian coaches and from yours truly as well, I hope. But always have a huge desire to learn. This is the best advice that I can give. If you don't take any other tip, at least take this one. Always be constantly willing to learn and always be eager to learn regardless. And this one is really regardless if you are just starting or if you have already a long career. And if you talk with coaches that are on the sport from many years until now, they will for sure agree with this. The second tip that I want to give is to be critic with the knowledge that you get. So not all the knowledge is good. All the knowledge might be good, but not all the knowledge is good. What do I want to say with this? Of course, that let's say if you are just starting and you are coaching at a youth team, let's say under 10, under 11, kids that don't usually play beach soccer, an exercise from Portugal or from Brazil probably will not work in your reality. It might work, it will depend on the exercise. That's why I'm saying and I'm advising you to be critic with the knowledge that you get. Don't just take the knowledge for granted or the exercise for granted as good knowledge just because it comes from someone with more experience or in a higher level. Always look at the exercise, at the advice, at the way of thinking, and see if it makes sense in your specific reality. Because even on similar realities, the way of the coach thinking is different. The type of players available is different. So let's say an exercise from Brazil might not be good to work with the Portuguese team. So when two teams of this top level, things might not work from one side to the other. Let's imagine with our reality. So try to get as many knowledge as possible, but always look at it with a critic sense. So don't think it's immediately good or don't think it's immediately bad just because you don't agree. Try to look at it, try to see if you can adapt or make slight changes to make it be good for your specific reality. Third advice, volunteer to work with different coaches in different roles. And this is particularly important if you are just starting. If you are just starting, this has of major importance. Work or volunteer yourself to work with teams in your area or further from you, as long as it makes sense. But don't worry too much if it is women, if it is men, if it is the main team, the youth team, if they ask you to take a role of, let's say, goalkeeper coach or analysis or etc. Assistant coach, go to the club, show interest, show up every day, and even if you even if the invitation doesn't show up, make yourself available. So go to the clubs and say, okay, I want to be a beach soccer coach, and I'm here to help you in any role that you need, any role that you have available. I'm happy to do it. I'm just here to try to help and to get more knowledge. And most of the times they will happily accept you. And while you are there, don't just focus on doing your work, because like I said, they might ask you to be a goalkeeper coach and you don't have any interest of making your career as a goalkeeper coach. But try to do and try to be as best as possible in your role, of course. But while you are there, absorb the environment, absorb information. So look at the head coach, see what things does he does. Does he does? Sorry about my English. What things he does that work and don't work in that context. See how the club is organized, what type of documents do they use, how is the relationship between the players and the club and the technical team. So they are very close to each other. It's like or they keep the distance when they are talking. Try to get try to absorb as much information as possible from the environment itself, okay? So that you can start to see, okay, this thing makes sense to me, this doesn't make sense, I never thought that this document would be important, or this type of preparing the drill will be important, and you are getting and absorbing information to stack on top of your knowledge to make you a better coach. The thing that I said goes and makes perfect sense with tip number 4, create your identity. So start to see what makes sense to you or not, what feels natural to you or not. Let's say that you are a coach that really likes to be, and especially if you are of young age, let's say that you are a coach that really likes to be close to the player. So treat them like if you were one of them. And that's perfectly okay. That's your identity. And if it's natural to you, no problem whatsoever. Don't try to be like a coach that has and tries to keep a big distance from the players if that is not natural to you. If it is, great. Do it like that. And with your identity, what I'm trying to say as well is that how do you like to put your team to play? Do you like to play more goalkeeper plus 2-2, or do you like to play more 3-1, 4-0? In beach soccer, it's not so usual to play 4-0, but it might be, or it can make sense to you to play it that way. Do you prefer that the goalkeeper has a big role in having the ball or not? So this is part of your identity. Do you prefer to defend higher on the pitch or lower on the pitch, man-to-man, zonal, mixed? All of this you will have to start to identify yourself. Don't play this year goalkeeper plus 2-2 and defend higher on the pitch and man-to-man, and next year you will defend very low on the pitch and you never use the goalkeeper. It doesn't make sense, because you will never be as good as you can be if you start to create your own identity. This has a very big downside. At least you might think it has. Let's say that, and it will happen for sure, you wanted to go to a specific club, but that club doesn't play nothing like you do. So your identity is very far from the club's identity. Probably that will not help you or will not make you go to that specific club. When they are searching for a coach, probably will not be on the list. And that's bad, of course. On the other hand, when a club talks to you, when a club wants you, and they know how you play, how is your identity, probably they will talk to you exactly because of that. So it will close some doors, but it will open doors where things probably will be better, because both the club identity and yours will be very similar. So it's better that way than to just be constantly changing just because you want to go to a specific club. It will close some doors for sure, but it will open up the right doors for you specifically. And the last one, tip number 5, adapt and evolve. So I'm saying have your identity. No, I'm saying, okay, but you have to adapt. It seems like a countersense, but it's not. Because what I'm saying here with adapt and evolve is you always like to play with your pivot in the center of the pitch. But on your specific reality, it doesn't make much sense because the defenders are very tough and they always have like two defenders, one behind the pivot and one in front of the pivot. So it gets harder for it to get the ball. So maybe you need to adapt. Maybe you need to get the pivot a little bit on one of the lines. Let's say that one of your wingers is very, very good in one-to-one. Doesn't it make sense for you to slightly adapt your way of playing and use that winger and that individual capacity of your winger to create more opportunities? Same thing as a goalkeeper. You don't like very much playing with the goalkeeper taking the team forward with the foot. But let's say that your goalkeeper is very, very good with the foot. It will make sense that you slightly adapt. It doesn't mean that you need to change everything, but if it makes sense that you adapt that situation, go forward. Don't die with your ideas. Have them, defend them, but change them when needed. And the evolve part. And the goalkeeper is perfect for that. The goalkeeper rule in beach soccer is always changing. First, they didn't have any limit of time with the ball on their feet. Then they had time, but there was no problem with the number of balls that the players passed to the goalkeeper's hands of their own teams. So the ball was much more direct from the hands of the goalkeeper. Then they changed it and the goalkeeper only can get one ball passed back to the hands. And then they only have 4 seconds inside their goal line. Now they only have 4 seconds up until the midfield. So the rules are constantly changing. And if you don't look at the game and if you are not willing to adapt and to evolve with the game itself, then you will be left behind. And the last thing that I want from you is that you get left behind because you are too stubborn to change any of your ideas or to adapt and evolve with the game itself. So that wraps it up for today. Thank you for being here, and I hope I see you on a next video.